Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. Before we get into our podcast, just want to do a quick shout out for Inspection Manager. What an amazing inspection app platform that they have. And they're really excited at the moment with their tenant assisted routine inspections, where your tenants, in the convenience of their own time frame and in the convenience of their rental property, they can be getting you through the app inspections, their own inspection or their own photos that they've done. Now, this is going to help you, particularly if you're in lockdown. But what we've also found as businesses have come out of lockdown, they've found that perhaps they can do maybe one or even two of these inspections a year, aside from scheduling their normal routine inspections. The next step, really go and have a demo, have a look for yourself and make a decision where this could actually work for you too. So go to inspectionmanager.com, request a demo and check it out.
Hi everyone, it's Deniz Yusuf here from IGT, and this is the BDM Coach podcast show, and I've got Darren Hunter with me here today. And today, Darren, we're doing part 2 of the 34 fees and fee package types. I mean, wow, what a first session. We weren't planning on doing 2 sessions, Darren.
No, we weren't. But like usual, I mean, if you really look at what IGT teaching is all about, it's always meat and potatoes, nothing else, no fluff, no tofu, nothing. It's all absolute solid content. We don't do anything less.
No, you know what's really funny, Darren, is we started this business together in 2017, right? We came to the agreement, we're going to do it. September 2017, we started Inspired Growth Training as a combined company. And we did our very first series together. Can you remember what it was called? Can you remember the very first series?
Geared for Growth. Geared for Growth.
Geared for Growth, that's right. And we did the online recording, and I went, Darren, we need to put this as we did the tour, then we did the online recording, and I said, Darren, we need to keep adding value and start charging regular fees on this, and you said no worries, and we put together a 40-part series. Remember, we had a 40-part series, property management, nuts and bolts, and growth. And you used to tell me off for going over time. Dennis, it's got to be under an hour. It's always going to be under an hour. Now have the tables turned.
Well, I guess, and let's be honest here, our teaching is only relevant to the top 10% of performance because we go in deep, and that's what the top 10% want and do. That's what makes them top 10%. We get it that people below that, perhaps it's a bit too much. That's cool. We've found our niche. It is what we do. We feel that we are devaluing ourselves if we don't deliver to the full extreme. And because we love what we do, that's the whole thing. We've both got a teaching gift to deliver and really enjoy our gift. We've got to just let it flow. And that's what this session typically is. So moving on, we've had a lot of good feedback from part 1. If you haven't listened to part 1 already, you need to, because we covered the management fees, the 5 different management fee types. We covered the leasing marketing fee types. And now we're getting into inspection fee types. We're getting into the fee types, and then we're going to get into the actual different types of fee packages and how they work. So lots and lots of good content. Of course, this is all from our new book, PM Fee Scripts Secrets. That's PM Fee Scripts Secrets. The book is free, just pay shipping, but make it really easy so you don't have to remember those words. Just go to stopdiscountingfees.com. It's stopdiscountingfees.com. You'll get the book there. Again, we're not charging you for it, but please just pay shipping and we'll get it out to you. And we've got a library in the back. Now, there is 50 plus scripts covering practically every fee objection you could ever think of that will come at you. It is an incredible, if you want to call it a fee Bible or whatever, but in the back section is the library of the different fees that are charged over Australia, New Zealand, United States, what agents are charging for them. That's the 34 fees and package types. It is quite a comprehensive library of really everything that I've seen. But Dennis, you've already messed me up because there's probably one or two you could add to it now.
I'm going to bring that up. We haven't changed the name of the podcast to 35.
Anyway, let's move on. So again, if you haven't listened to part one, please go back and listen to it. Let's get into it. So there are now moving on with past the management fee types, past the leasing marketing fee types. We're now getting into the inspection fee types. And the first one, of course, is the ingoing inspection report fee, or if you're in Western Australia, it's commonly known as a PCR or property condition report. In America, they can call them move-ins. Or entry inspection. Typically in America, though, Deniz, a lot of people don't realize they haven't got anywhere near the level of legislation that we have. So a lot of the time, these guys don't actually do a written report. It's photos, it's a video or something like that. And of course, there is merit around that. An inspection report can detail, other things. In Australia, I can't speak for New Zealand. In Australia, it is legislated. You've got to have a written report. Each state has its own legislation.
That's right.
But really, really important. And it details, Deniz, the ingoing inspection, it details everything in a property. And, if we look at a property, it typically has two pieces to it, inside and outside. Inside the house, there's 3 zones. You've got your living zone, which is your entrance, passage, lounge, dining area, and bedrooms. And then I would have the kitchen as a zone on itself, because there's lots and lots and lots of things to record in the kitchen. And then the wet areas, bathroom, toilet, laundry. And they were the 3 zones. And within those zones are your areas. You've got, individual rooms. And in those rooms, you have items. You've got, the wall, ceiling, light fittings, blinds, curtains, doorways, doors, carpets. And so, each one of those, there's a lot of work. And I remember adding up all of the typical items and the typical homes that I was once inspecting. I was a full-time property inspector once, doing all ingoing, outgoing, and routine inspections for 500 properties. And it would take me in South Australia. Now, again, please don't judge my time on your time, but it would take me in a typical 3-bedroom house plus with 1 bathroom and maybe a car space. When my car door opened to when my car door shut, when I hopped back in the car and finished, it was an hour.
Yeah, there you go.
An hour. And for every extra room you do, it's probably take me an extra 5 minutes. Back then I'd take photos on a camera that would make a noise when you click the button. And I'd have to take a roll of film or 2 rolls of film down to get developed and picked up. Always getting 2 copies. And there was a lot of work, Deniz. And so, you need to be making sure you're charging properly for that. And, right now, Western Australia, we're seeing up to $250, $300 being charged for an ingoing inspection. In Western Australia, legislation is really, really tough. They're tougher than anywhere else. And so they're doing, their legislation dives really deep into how their inspections must be structured.
Well, Darren, it's also common that there's companies over there, and there are companies in other states of Australia and overseas, etc., but that actually do those reports for you. That's their job. It's a company that go out and will do those entry conditions or ingoings or whatever you want to call them. They do those reports. It's a full-time job. Darren, you're saying an hour. But houses are bigger now.
Several hours.
Are bigger. There's air conditioners in every room now. There's like so much more to a house or their homes that are being let out.
Yeah. So, in West Australia, very common. They charge at $250 to $300 for an ingoing inspection. Look, they get it. You go, what's the leasing fee for? It's whatever you say it's for. And they believe that the ingoing inspection should be charged separately. They get it. They get their fee, and because they've got a fee and because it's so cumbersome, a lot of them, they outsource to a third-party inspection company to do it for them. But those inspection companies, if they went to the East Coast, as much as there would be a benefit to outsource it to these companies, it's saving a lot of time because they're not charging fees. I don't think they should be charging for them. Therefore, a lot of these companies suffer because the businesses won't part with the money. So, it's interesting how that one works. But what also, let's just make note that with the ingoing inspection comes quality photos, and then next level up is video. But Deniz, the next level up has now just happened, virtual tours. So
the virtual tours have combined, VTC has actually combined with Inspection Manager to do virtual tours for those ingoing reports.
So everyone go to inspectionmanager.com.au, and with their very good inspection reports. Now, don't forget everyone, sure, you may be using your property management software company, and your property management software includes some type of inspection, but they don't specialize in that stuff. I certainly, if I was back in the game, I'd be going to someone like Inspection Manager using their very specialized software, because it's going to satisfy where I'm at, whereas the other software may be typically dumbed down because they don't specialize in it. But now Inspection Manager, you can get virtual tours through Virtual Tours Creator in the actual report. How impressive is that? Dennis, if you're a BDM and you were showing that to an owner to get their business, knowing your competitors don't do it, how much easier is your job going to be?
Oh, Darren, it's a point of difference just to win the business. It's
I know.
massive. It's like we aren't just taking photos of your property. We're doing like a 3D scan of your property.
It's a 360-degree walkthrough. Who's going to argue with this? And it's inserted into the actual document that the tenant's going to get as well. And what it does, everybody, understand, it reduces the opportunity for the tenant to dispute at the end. And if it means you avoiding tribunal altogether or going to court altogether, happy days.
Yeah,
if you want to do that, the tenant's not going to argue with the level and detail, plus it's impressive. You explain that to the owner, suddenly they want you and don't care about your cheaper competitors. It's all about getting an impressive point of difference. So inspectionmanager.com.au, who are working in conjunction with Virtual Tours Creator.com.au. Moving on. Okay.
You know, I do feel like I've got another fee that I'm going to add to the whole component of your book. And like, I've already added one to part 1, and I've got one in my mind for part 2.
What is it?
Okay. So have you got a get ready inspection report? So the get ready report, so this is ideal for Americans. I know that there's companies that are doing it. So that's basically a report that they put together. They charge the owner for the works that needs to be done prior to the property being available to lease.
To get it pristine, to get it ready and pristine, so you get some rent and the best tenant in the fastest possible time.
That could be organising tradespeople to go out and do cleaning, smoke alarms, this, that, and the other. So it's a get ready report. So we'll do a get ready report for you, and they're charging that to the owner. So have you got that in your book?
Yeah, no, I haven't. So I didn't even think about it, but I see the benefit of it. And again, Dennis, I'm going to go down to the printing company on Monday and burn all of the copies that I've done so I can redo it again.
So I've added 2 more.
We got 2.5 pallets, Dennis, of books. It's like, please stop these new ideas. But that's a really, really good one. You know, Ashley Goodchild at the conference, the IGT conference, she said with her investor support services, if property investors want property management advice from her, she charges a fee. And because she believes she's worth it. She has the magnetism of people wanting to use her. She gets it where everyone else probably just give it for free. So, all right, moving on. Routine inspection fee number 18. So look, just very, very quickly, everybody, you know, commonly on the East Coast of Australia and in New Zealand, a lot of companies don't charge. There's a lot more companies in New Zealand charging for a routine inspection fee these days than say a few years ago. But commonly on the East Coast, you mention a routine inspection fee. Everybody, in my sessions look like the deer caught in headlights and would like to hang me. And we'll say, well, what's the management fee for? And they're so hung up on it. But at the end of the day, when your plumber charges $130 to go and change a leaky washer, which is a piece of rubber, and you don't question it, or a smoke alarm company to come out and check the smoke alarm and they charge $100 and you don't question it, what makes your owner think that they'll question, say, $99 for a professional inspection done by a professional real estate agent on a quality inspection template like inspectionmanager.com.au, you know, with photos and all those sort of things in it, when it's taken an hour of your time and you go, no, it doesn't, Darren, it takes 15 minutes. It takes an hour of your time with booking time, drive time, do the inspection, do all the tasks that were generated because you simply showed your face up at the property, then get the report ready, sent to the owner. It's about an hour. And something to say, no, Darren, it's actually more than that. So what is your time worth per hour? And, you know, very quickly, Dennis, a cleaner might charge 50, 60 an hour. A lawnmower man might charge the same. The handyman might charge $60 to $70 an hour. A plumber might charge $100, $110 an hour. Same with the electrician. The geek to come and fix your computer in your office, $150 to $200 an hour, and up and up and up, and it goes. And if you actually add up your real estate value in your business, the actual properties you're managing, let's say there's 100 properties you're managing and they're worth $500,000 each. Well, that's what's the numbers there, Dennis? 100 times 500,000. What's that? $5 million.
That's right.
$5 million of other people's assets. You don't need to price your hourly rate of your company time at the same as a lawnmower man or the handyman or even the plumber. So let's just get realistic. You only have a problem with charging a fee, say, of $99, but your owners don't. Your mindset is incorrect. Your owners are happy to pay for a leaky tap or a smoke alarm check for a lot less time at the property and charge a lot more. So I'm just saying, people, just open your mindset. Don't let your big butt get in the way. But Darren, what's a management fee for? And for people in Western Australia, everyone charges routine inspections there, but it's not enough. Okay, so, let's get serious, Dennis. I'm probably going to start teaching people in the future to do $199 for routine inspections because they can. I just need people to do it with, like I spoke to yesterday, Dennis, and she.
Yeah, absolutely. that person, look out, like is what I can say. But look, let's be realistic. Let's say the average rent of a property, I'm gonna put it up, like, is $800 a week, right? And you're charging 10% fees. Let's say you're charging 10%. We know that 90% of the agencies aren't even charging that, even more, 95%, right? So let's say they are charging 10%. Okay, that's $80 a week. $80 a week. Okay, so if you're paying your staff $30, $40 or whatever the case, your company is doing more than 1 to 2 hours a week of work on that property. When it comes to the leasing, going out and doing the initial appraisal, getting the properties ready, doing the reports, the ingoings, the outgoings, the routine inspections, you are doing more than 1 to 2 hours a week of work per property. So if you are not charging for these extra auxiliary fees, then your business is going back, because that's not even really covering the wage of 1.5 staff, let alone all of the subscriptions that you've got to have, the desk cost, the car cost, the phone cost, the computer costs. There's so much to add. So it is so important that you are getting maximum fees for your company.
Particularly when wages are going up, business running expenses are going up, fuel's going up. At what point do you break it? At what point do your expenses exceed your income before you go, well, maybe we need to change our mindset now? So don't leave it too late, people. Okay. Now, just moving on, just very quickly also, we will be starting a new podcast show in the next week or so, Win Your Worth. Look out for that, everybody. We're just setting it up at the moment. That's going to be a lot more about this teaching, how to find, better fees. If you want to talk to me about getting better fees in your rent roll, book into my diary, getbetterfees.com. That's getbetterfees.com. That books you straight into my Calendly, so you can go into my diary. I will be away in the next week or so in Austin, Texas, attending a marketing conference, but getbetterfees.com. And Dennis, the good news is we are going to start up a Win Your Worth coaching program, a group coaching program within the IGT membership, where over 12 months, we're going to teach you how to find an extra $500 to $1,000 per new property you bring on board. It's going to be a 12-month program. You're going to be group coaching. It's part of the IGT membership. So go to igtmembership.com. Make sure you signed up. It's only $297 per month for whole team access. There's over 300 videos in there, or video hours of our training. All of our expertise is in there. You also have access to caller coach as well. It just goes on and on and on, but we're going to be doing that program later. Let's move on now. Fee number 20, Dennis. Fee number 19, sorry, is a file inspection. So you can call it that, the file inspection report fee, or also known as the vacate, or the bond inspection, the security deposit inspection, depending if you're in America or Australia, move out or exit inspection report. And that's very simple. It's just the whole process of exiting or ending the tenancy, where the tenant may have given notice You may have given notice to the tenant, right through to remarketing the property, right through to the final inspection where you've checked it to make sure the property is of the same standard as when they moved in, less reasonable fair wear and tear, to the point of then finalizing the bond. If it's all straightforward, that's great. A lot of the time it's not. A little bit complicated to a lot complicated. It can be a very stressful process. My point is, why aren't you charging for it? Now, Deniz, when I was with an agency in 2000, I started, I just came to the conclusion when I first started there, and I was actually getting paid a commission for every dollar that I brought in. And so it was important for me to get maximum fees, but I just decided, Deniz, that final inspections suck. They just suck. Because there's so much work in them and only 10% are good. The rest are a little bit complicated to a lot complicated, resulting in conflict, going to try, and it just does my head in. You know, tenants want to argue with you and all blah, 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 blah. I just decided I'm not doing this as part of the management fee anymore. I'm doing it for a fee. And I started charging a fee from that day. Not once did my competitors ever charge it, and not once did my owners ever question it. All righty, really, really important. That's that. Not owners ever questioning something is something I commonly come across with agencies who are charging a particular fee and their competitors aren't charging it, and it's never an issue, but it means a lot more to your profit margin. Okay, so these sort of things here, you know, I've seen fee charging anywhere from $50 to $300. Please don't lowball yourself. 50 is just an insult. You know, $300, if you really look at the amount of time you put in, it's still not enough. But please don't think that the management fee needs to cover everything. Deniz, I just think one day I'm going to rename it, call it the rent collection fee. You've
had some really good posts that you've done. You know, you have had some good posts.
It should be called the rent collection fee because even just that 8 or 10% that you're charging for your management fee, if you call it the rent collection fee, that's justification enough for all of the rent collection that you do, for the systems you have in place, for the follow-up systems you've got in place, and all of that, and the software that you've got, and where debt collection companies charge at 8 or 10% as well. It's a fee that stands on its own just for the services of rent collection. So if it's just justifiable enough just on rent collection, what about all the other stuff that you should be doing? Now, I'm just saying that as a challenge. I'm probably never going to change the management fee to the rent collection fee. I'm just making a point, everybody, that your fee should only cover the absolute basics and you should be charging for the other stuff. That's what's covered in my book. All righty. That's why we've got 34 fees and fee packages. All right. Next
Darren,
one.
I've got to apologize. I feel like I've got another one. That's just
You're going to have to write these down, Deniz, because
mate, I'm about to hit send on the text. I'm putting it together.
Right, what is it? What is it?
So it's a handover fee. So this is a handover fee. So when you first take on the property, the owner has to collect all of the manuals. They've got to go get keys sorted. They've got to get everything done, etc. Right? But when an owner wants to move back into a property, you've then got to go collect everything, get it all together, collect all your paperwork that you've got on their behalf, and you've got to hand it back and give it to them, right? Even meet them at the property, and here's the air conditioner that was done when you're overseas, and that's the new dishwasher. Here's the manuals for it. You've actually got to hand back the property, right? So it's like a handover. You know, whether you do it if you've lost the management, it's going to another agency, maybe there's another one there, I don't know, a handover. Right, but it's a hand back to the owner. There's a lot of works that
there is. So everybody, you hear Deniz's conviction. He believes this should be done. You're hearing him then explain. See, once he's got the conviction, hey, I should be charging for this. Suddenly, he's now worked out what he needs to say and how to actually justify it. So you get the belief and the conviction first, then you'll work out what to say. Now, of course, my book has practically got every fee that you can, you know, all the scripts you need to justify every individual fee. But the point is, once you know you should be charging it, you'll work out what to say because the conviction is there. Once you know why you should be charging it, then you'll be able to explain and use the right words, because once you believe it, your clients will too. Just see it like a candle. And it's a light, and you've got another candle, it's not a light, you just go and touch that other candle, the flame jumps, it's transferred. Belief is transferable from one person to another. They can see it in your eyes, they can see it in your body language, you can hear it in your voice, that you believe that this this fee should be charged and why, they'll just go, oh, okay. Don't forget your owners aren't expert in the market like you are. If they just want you, they're going to pay your fee, as long as it sounds like a reasonable explanation. All right, moving on.
Really interesting here, Darren. If you're an agent that's going in, forget about the fees, forget about all of that. But if you're going in explaining all the services that you do and what you cover and this, that, and the other, you are now the expert. Yep, you might be charging a fee for routine inspections, but you've educated them on inspection manager, on virtual tours for those routines, not just for the marketing of the properties and etc. You are showcasing that you are the agency of choice, right? They're just going to go, wow, 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 where do I sign? We can do this, we do this. We don't just hand the keys over. We collect everything together. We put it on file. We get all the manuals. We get it ready for you. We'll meet you at the property. That is showing a company that is organized, that has got things in place, systems, procedures. You know, it's showing that you are the expert, and they're not even going to care about the fee.
Correct. So let's move on. Fee number 20, furniture inventory fee. Dennis, this is the F word. All righty. If you feel that you need to do furniture now, okay, if you're a student accommodation, yep, no problem. If you're a holiday lets, yep, no problem. If you're an Airbnb, yep, no problem. But if you're doing traditional property management in the burbs, really, why do you need to do furniture? You're limiting your tenant pool. But if you do, you need to be charging a fee for it. And whether you charge a flat rate of say $250 or $350 or charging an hourly rate, please don't lowball yourself. You aren't worth the value per hour as the lawnmower man. Let's get that right. But we've got some information in there about the furniture inventory fee, but boy, they get complicated. You're going to take lots of photos and videos as well as written to cover your backside, Dennis. I remember many times managing property managers where I had to sign checks of $300 for the microwave oven that went missing because these things weren't done right. And, it's just, if you're managing a house with crockery, cutlery, toaster, sheets, towels, what a nightmare. Anyway. All right, moving on. Fee number 21, the monthly administration fee. Now, this used to be called postage and petties. Of course, not a good word anymore now that postage is doomed. Using that term, it's hard to justify. Monthly administration fee, but please don't call it a statement fee. Certainly here in Australia, there are certain rules around you've got to provide an account for the monies used on the owner's behalf for free, and that's your monthly statement. So don't call it a monthly statement fee. Monthly administration fee, and also people are calling this thing, they're calling this thing a technology fee as well.
I just sent that text to you, Darren. I wrote technology fee, but I have seen an agency that has the administration fee, and they also have a technology fee.
Yeah.
They basically say this covers all the subscriptions. Yeah. For the management of their property. So, All
right, fee number 22. Now that monthly administration, commonly we're seeing $5, $10 plus GST or tax, $15 plus GST. I had one client that just decided he was only going to add one new fee, which was a $22 or $20 plus GST per month per property over his 300 properties. He found his extra $240 that he needed per year to double his profit margin. That was his numbers. And through that process of 300, he lost one client because of it. So, when banks, you don't blink an eye when a bank's going to charge you how much account keeping fees per month. We don't blink an eye. Why do you think your owners are going to have a problem with it? They don't. And to justify it, again, the fee script is in the book. Just go to stopdiscountingfees.com. Alrighty. Annual statement fee. So number 22, this is where you're providing a service. Your property management software no doubt can do it, where you're giving the owner an annual summary of all the 12 monthly statements in one summary to give to the accountant, so the accountant doesn't have to do it. See, if you gave your 12 monthly statements to the accountant without the annual summary, he will go, okay, where's your annual summary? I haven't got it. Okay, well, I'm going to have to tally this up for you. And ka-ching, accountants don't charge like lawnmower men or property managers. They charge like accountants, and $300 an hour, $250 an hour. It might take up to 2 hours while they're drinking their coffee in between. And now that's cost you $400, for example. So if your fee, in light of the alternate cost, in the book, we teach about the law of alternate cost, that if you put your fee in light of the alternate cost, in this case, Mr. Owner, we charge the annual statement fee because if we didn't provide this service, your accountant is going to lick their lips and go ka-ching, ka-ching, and probably charge you about $400 for their time of something that we're just charging you $50, $60, $70 for. See, now that you put it in light of the alternate cost, your fee looks like a bargain. But if you fail to do that and just say, Mr. Owner, we charge $60, $70, $80, go, what? For just pressing a button, you haven't been able to prove the value of your fee because you failed to quote the likely alternate cost. The law of alternate cost, everyone, it's in the book. Make sure you use that too. All right, Dennis, we are cruising here. Fee number 23, the annual technology fee. So this is, instead of doing a monthly administration fee, you may charge it annually. Or you may do a monthly administration fee and charge an annual technology fee. Dennis, I can't believe it. You know, my bank the other day charged me a $300 fee, an annual fee. I can't even remember what it was for. I can't even remember when I signed up to that mortgage that fee was part of it. But they charged it for something that they had to justify, or they felt they could justify. And see, that's the point. The main game with the banks is their percentage rate. The main game for us is our management fee. And this is why owners don't really think about or really care too much about, you know, those other fees that just come. So, all right, the annual technology fee, guys, you know, Dennis, what would that cover?
Oh, look, I mean, lots.
Annual, you know, technology / subscription. It's
That's
all
right, the whole
ever
lot.
since COVID, we've all gone cloud. We've got cloud programs, cloud subscriptions. I'm getting charged, you know, all these fees for, you know, Google Drive each month. I've got fees coming out for all the cloud programs that we're just adding on and adding on and adding on that make our lives so much better. You know, and people will say, why is that included as part of the management fee? My response is, why does it have to be part of the management fee? You know, it comes down to your mindset. If you believe you're worth it, you should be charging it. Then you know how to explain it, you will get it. That's the law of the better fee. All right. And now, if you want a lot more description about these laws, just go 2 or 3 podcasts earlier. I did the 7 laws of fees. I've done a whole podcast on it, and it's covered in the book as well. All righty. So everyone, this stuff has taken me years and years and years to work out. And you can just read it in a book over 3 hours. Dennis, my 20 years experience in a book of 3 hours. Seriously. That's not a bad deal, is it? And I'm not even charging for the book.
Yeah.
Maybe I should charge a few $100s for the book, Dennis, because then people may value the book a lot more than getting it for free and just sticking it on a shelf. What do you think?
Because it's about putting it in place.
If they have to pay $300, $400,
I know.
And then they're probably going to apply what's taught in the book, and they're going to find themselves tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars extra per year, because that's what the book is going to do for you, everyone. But all right, moving on. Tribunal fee, fee number 24, tribunal court fee. This is your hourly rate time. Commonly, a lot of agencies only charge when they show up at court, but don't fail to then charge for their drive time, all of that. Guys, this is now getting into what we call the de-incentivizing fees, where owners just want to go send you to tribunal court over a scratch on a wall. You don't want that. You know, if your fee is there to attend a tribunal, whether you charge it or not, that's up to you. But it does discourage bad owner behavior, that if it's going to cost them $400 or $500 for you to go to tribunal, then it's got to be a good worth. And this helps you to write off very quickly $100 dispute with a tenant, where they're not, just write it off, everybody, you know, and that your fee is going to help you do that, because it's the alternate cost, isn't it, of fighting that particular fight.
The management fee can't keep absorbing all of the additional costs that businesses are being warned, you know.
Correct. Dennis, next one, the insurance claim processing fee, because when I had my property managed, I was very happy to pass my paperwork onto my property management, because technically Well, I was actually getting charged an all-inclusive, so I was paying for it anyway.
Mm.
But by hell, I wasn't doing it. I hate paperwork. So insurance claim processing fee, whether it's a landlord insurance claim or otherwise, we're seeing anywhere up to a flat rate of $250 for that. But again, it's another de-incentivizer. If the owner wants you to do the paperwork, it's yes, Mr. Smith, and the fee will be. At least you should be getting paid for it. Okay. Next one is the payment disbursement fee. So this is where you're paying a bill on the owner's behalf, whether you're paying a plumbing bill, repair bill, council rates, water rates, whatever, per bill, it's a payment disbursement. So that could be per account paid on their behalf, $2 to $5 we're typically seeing. Next one, fee number 27, the special payment fee. Dennis, owner calls up mid-month. Usually they get paid out at the end of the month. They call up mid-month and say, hey, look, can I get a special payment, please? The answer is yes, Mr. Smith, and the fee will be special payment fee. Typically in this sort of thing here, where it's outside of the payment cycle, anywhere $10 to $30 or something like that. I don't see too many people charging it, but no doubt listening to this, you go, whoa, that's very interesting. Okay, next one is fee number 28, the water collection fee. Now, this is where agents are collecting water on behalf of the owner. The only state in Australia that's different to this is Victoria, where the tenant has to take out the water supply at the property in their name directly with the water department.
Yeah,
happy days.
It's like a gas bill, right?
Happy days, correct. Yeah. But everywhere else, the account stays in the owner's name. Therefore, we have to read the meters, all those sorts of things, work out what the tenant owes and go to them. It's debt collection, people. All right, this is debt collection. And sometimes the tenant's far more reluctant to pay the water fee than all the other stuff that they pay. It's a lot harder sometimes to extract this. You should be charging for it. Now, whether you charge a separate water collection fee or Dennis, I'm just about to Dennis, I want you to listen as I say this next statement, because we're going to hear this ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. As our listeners and our viewers are going to go, wow, how easy is this? Dennis, so when we're quoting to owners, we charge, let's say it's, 8%. Mr. Owner, we charge 8% plus GST, or 8.8% of all monies collected. That's including water and rent. Plus also we charge the same percentage on any repairs that we conduct on your behalf. How easy was that?
Well, I actually don't think that's enough. I would be charging more than 8% of
yeah, I know, but the point is
that'd be under like
how easy was it to say that?
Yeah.
And if the owner is not, well known about what's going on in the industry like you, because they've only been in it 5 minutes, you've been in it 20 years or 10 years, it just sounds, why not?
How many times do you have to chase the tenant to pay the water bill? There's multiple emails and phone calls, So
all money's collected. So Mr. Smith, we charge X% for all money's collected, plus also the same percentage to organise any repairs on your behalf. Alrighty, just make it simple, everybody. And that is such a reasonable proposition. It just rolls off the tongue. And I'm hearing this ka-ching, ka-ching. All right, so that then moves on to the repairs and maintenance fee, number 29. Look, here, I've got a great script in my book. If you want to charge a repairs and maintenance fee, remember, there's 2 agents in Adelaide that I know very well, or in South Australia. Look, no one charges a repairs and maintenance fee in South Australia except 3 agencies. Now, all of those 3 agencies are completely separate from each other, and all their competitors never charge this fee. They've always charged it, and no one's ever questioned it. All righty. And that's the whole point. I remember another good friend of mine who's charging this fee said, Darren, that fee earned me $11,000 in the last year. No one's ever questioned me in 12 years. Alrighty, so don't let your big butt get in the way, everybody. Don't let your mindset stop you if you think you should be charging it. If you think it should be part of the management fee, well, guess what? That's your self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think it should be charged separately, if you've got that conviction and you know how to explain it, I've got the script in my book on how to explain that one. You'll get it too. So people, don't let your mindset become unprofitable. What you think is an issue, like owners only care about cheap fees, it's just not true. So don't let untruth cloud your mind with false facts. Dennis, seriously, if I could get everybody onto Facebook and go, but owners only care about cheap fees, or make a statement, or if I charge that, owners wouldn't sign up with me, or whatever it is. Guess what? Facebook's going to coming up. It's going to block that post and say incorrect fact or fact checking or whatever, because it's not true, everybody. All right. So don't let yourself get fooled by false information. I still haven't come across yet a big but Darren, you know, whatever your reason is why you think you can't do it, that's actually true. If you want to explore this option and open up to the possibilities here, talk to me. Just go to getbetterfees.com. I'm happy to chat to you about what can be done in your marketplace relative to your fees. And I'll work out some numbers here, but please don't let your big butt get in the way.
All right. Well, like you've said before, it really comes back to that conviction. It's no different to a BDM or a listing agent, whatever you want to be called, that's going out educating owners why they should use them. If you're selling a service that you don't believe in, if you don't think you're the best, you don't think you've got good property managers, systems and procedures, it's not going to have conviction, and that owner isn't going to feel trusting. But if you're a BDM and you're going out there and you totally believe that you're the best agent of choice, you've got the best leasing agent, you've got great systems in place, they're going to want to sign with you. They're going to see that conviction. It's that same conviction that you've got to have, you've got to carry when you are selling your services and your fees. Because in the end, all of these fees, they're not just about making extra money for your owner, for your business owner. It's about ensuring that you've got the right systems in place and you're charging for those systems that your office is doing for those owners.
Yeah, well done. All right, next one, fee number 30, the renovation fee. Everyone go, well, yeah, we should be charging for that, because I've had owners call me and go, I want 3 quotes for carpets and 3 quotes for new painting through the property and plus. You need to be able to turn around and say, yes, Mr. Owner, and our fee will be. But if you get back to that, you know, well, we charge, you know, X% for all monies collected, including water, and the same for any repairs we order on your behalf. Well, that's probably going to help you here too. It's got such a great encompassing, far-reaching, if you're charging a percentage on anything that you're doing on behalf of the owner. Alrighty. Okay, next one, the rent increase fee. People are going, what's that? The rent increase fee is exactly what it is. Let's say that you find you say you increase the rent by an extra, I don't know, in Australia or New Zealand, an extra $30 a week. You know, what's that over a year? About $1,500. You should be charging a percentage on that. Alrighty. In America, you might be charging an extra $200 a month. You should be charging a percentage on that extra increase over a year. So it's, you know, what does it work out over a year of the extra increased amount? Charge a percentage on that, and you could be charging the same percent as your management fee. So you know, that could then, well, we charge, you know, the same X% on the rent increase fee as well as our fee to get it all organized, because there's special legislation that has to be considered, special paperwork. Plus, we also have a system in place to make sure that the tenant's aware of it. They all reluctant to pay it. Justify, and the owner.
So let me ask a question just so I can understand this one. So if I'm going to earn the owner an extra $1,000, so I say I can put the rent up, it's going to be an extra $1,000 over a 12-month period, and let's say your fees are 10%, you would charge $100 for that increase, because that's 10% of $1,000, right? So that gets charged, and then you've also got your renewal lease fee, or there may not be a renewal, it may be just a rent increase.
Yeah, renewals can happen without rent increases, for sure.
So they both can happen at the same time as well. Right? Yep, okay. Now I understand it. Right, cool.
Here's some basic one-on-one marketing people that I learned. So, you know, this is where I go to America, and, you know, I understand what 10Xing is. So if I provide you a service, and I can show you how you're going to make $1,000 out of it, you're going to be happy. If I prove it to you, you're going to be very happy paying me 100.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if I'm then going to provide a service and show you how that you can make an extra $10,000, you'll be very, very happy then paying my fee of 1,000. That's 10Xing, right? And the same with $1 million. If I suddenly show you a program where I can make you an extra $1 million and prove it to you, then you're probably going to be very happy paying me $100,000 fee all day, every day.
Yeah, totally.
Because $1 million is better than 100,000. You keep the difference. So, guys, this is simply 10xing. Whether it's a 10% fee on that annual increased amount. Don't let your big butt get in the way, guys. Your bills are going up. Your everything's going up. Your fees are going up. Your staff salaries are going up. All those sort of things. Don't lowball yourself, people, by getting restricted with big butt thinking. All righty, moving on. Next one is the outside of normal duties fee. Oh my goodness, this is the great de-incentivizer. So this is where we are. It's not meant to be a money maker for you, but simply to discourage frivolous owner behavior. Dennis, I remember a story many years ago. I was managing an agency, and we had a C-class landlord call up. He had 4 crappy properties. And he said, "Hi, Darren, Sam here. I've got a loss adjuster coming to the rental property, and we need to get access. He's having a look at an issue at the property. And can you send one of your property managers there to oversee the appointment?" I said, "Why do you need us there, Sam?" He says, "Because I don't want the tenant speaking to the insurance assessor." Why can't he speak to the insurance assessor if he's got questions? Because I don't want the insurance assessor to be influenced by the information that's given by the tenant. Now, already something's not right here, that there may be some underhandedness going on. There's trying to conceal some information that the tenant will freely just reveal. But the point is, he wanted us to be there to babysit this appointment for 90 minutes, Dennis.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And I was fuming because I didn't have my outside of normal duties fee. I could have turned around and said, "Sam, thank you, and we're happy to do it. And this is outside of our normal duties. It's not under what we normally do, and we charge you X dollars per hour, $150, $200 per hour. How many hours would you like?" Knock yourself silly. Because if I'm taking my property manager out of the office, out of the pool, away from managing their other properties, we have to charge for it. So outside of normal duties, that could be meeting real estate valuers at the property, meeting the bank at the property. You could also, outside of normal duties, you could say, "Mr. Smith, outside of normal duties also includes insurance claim processing fees," or anything like that will consider outside of normal duties.
Meeting a trade, like meeting a tradesperson or let's say a supplier delivering a dishwasher or whatever, because the tenant's not there and you've got to go there to open the property up, or however the case. There's lots of things that you could be doing there.
Now that was fee number 32, everybody. So again, they're all covered in my book, stopdiscountingfees.com. I'm not charging you anything, just pay for shipping, please, and get it out to you. But here, Dennis, we haven't finished. We've got still 2 more things to discuss.
Two to go, but we've added one as well, remember?
We have. So
Dennis, I added one in the first session and the second session, but we could keep going.
We could. Now, we've got the fee package type. So generally, there's 2 different fee package types that I've seen out there. And don't forget to listen to part 1, because I go through different types of the way management fees are charged and the all-inclusive fee and all that sort of stuff, where we did a lot of detail there. So because I've done the detail in part 1, I'm not going to do the detail here, because this podcast is very long today, Dennis. I actually found out the other day the ideal podcast is 30 to 40 minutes. So we've blown that out of the water with our usual IGT extra value. Okay, so fee package number 1, which is number 33 in the book, is where we're charging 3 different packages: good, better, bronze, silver, gold, that sort of thing. So the base package would likely be, say, a real low base management fee, which appeals to owners that just want that cheaper management fee, but there's lots and lots and lots and lots of add-ons. We've got a leasing fee, we've got a marketing fee, we've got a lease renewal fee, we've got a monthly fee, we've got a rent increase fee, we got this fee, that fee, that fee, that fee, that, and the list is very, 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 very long. The only problem with that, people, is now you have to administer that. Make sure that your systems in place, that all of those things are actually charged. The middle package is probably your current management fee plus the other fees, the add-ons. So your typical one is the middle, and the upper one could be a higher management fee with a lot less of those add-ons, or even your all-inclusive. Alrighty. So what we find with those is, like any packages where you're giving choice, remember choice is a point of difference, is that people tend to go for the middle. Alrighty, they just tend to aim for the middle. And you can do your best to try and then upgrade them to the top package, but they just like to go to the middle. We do find the benefits of these sort of packages are that people are far less inclined to negotiate their fee. They simply negotiate which package they would like. Alrighty, that sounds a lot better than negotiating the fee. But the issues around that, it can cause confusion, people. Please, I've seen agents with 4 different packages. Understand this from a marketing point of view. If people are confused, the answer is no. It's no. All right. So understand that you're going to make things really, really easy to understand. So that's the good side and the bad side of the good, better, best, or the bronze, silver, gold, or whatever you want to call it. Now, the last number 34 fee package type, the second one is really we just take one of those out and we just have 2. And I've done 3 and I've done 2, and I'd like the 2 because I think we had a base, your base management fee plus, and then having an all-inclusive, whether you add on the marketing fee and the leasing fee as well, that's up to you. Go back to part 1, we discussed that there. I prefer that because it just takes out that added complication. It makes it a little bit easier to understand. I would sign up 70% of owners on that all-inclusive. Our fee back then, I was doing 16.5%, including GST. I've trained agents on 18.5%, but it really depends on your fees, your marketplace, all of that, what your number actually is. And I invite you, if you want to talk to me about that, about what your all-inclusive fee could be, please don't lowball yourself. Too many agencies out there have got they've worked out their all-inclusive percentage. It's too low, people. You're hurting yourself. So go to getbetterfees.com, book into my diary and have a chat. Don't forget the book, stopdiscountingfees.com as well. And I'd love you to get on board. Look out for our new podcast coming out shortly, Win Your Worth, and where I'm going to do deep dives on this stuff. I love this stuff. I've got so much to share. I've done quite a bit in the BDM Coach podcast show, but I think, Dennis, we need to start putting growth stuff back in. To keep the theme true to the BDM Coach podcast show. And I'm now going to swing things over to Win Your Worth podcast. And join me as well next year, where we're doing a group coaching program where I'm going to teach you how to find an extra $500 to $1,000 per door per year extra. It's going to be a 12-month program. It's part of the IGT membership. So go to igtmembership.com. It's only $297 a month for your whole team to access. We've got all of Dennis's strategies in there. We've got social media strategies. It's just huge. It's everything that we know on how to grow your business and make it profitable. All of our time management, communication, conflict management, it's all there.
So much training in there, Darren. Now, Darren, before we finish up, I've got one more that I want to bring up. I can't remember if we've done this or not. So you get, anyone that's listening in on this podcast, go and have a look at the YouTube. You'll see Darren's anxiety kicking in, so he doesn't have to burn the 3,000 books. Although we've already sold so many of them. But
still haven't caught up to your number yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, I mean, you've done a lot more marketing for your book. Anyway, but
nothing's stopping you, Dennis, doing what I'm doing.
That's okay. The book's selling itself. It's doing
Don't you just love this friendly competition that you're Dennis is always competitive and will not be outdone.
when you start to catch me, Darren, I'll then put the foot on the pedal. Yeah. Question, what about an appraisal fee?
How does that work?
Do you want me to justify?
Yeah, please. I'm the owner. Well, yep. Why isn't that part of the management fee, Dennis?
So Mr. and Mrs. Smith totally understand that, but we're actually not managing your property. It takes quite a bit of time for me to come out and educate you on how to prepare your property for rent, how you're going to attract the right property as well. My job is to come out and interview you and to see if your property is going to be suitable for us to manage. We've only got a certain number of properties that we take on per month. and your property needs to suit that. If you are to sign up with us, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you sign up with us this month and you do meet the requirements of IGT Realty, we will discount that onboarding, that appraisal fee for you, only for this month.
Yeah, that's great. Well done. That's really, really good.
We're not just a company that comes out and says, oh, you'll get $300 a week. Here's our stuff. I'll come out and do a detailed report. I mean, I could keep going, but yeah, so I do apologize. That's 3 fees or 4 fees I think I've added to your book.
I know, Dennis. I feel distraught now. My book's not as comprehensive as what I thought it was. Well, it's still comprehensive. It is very much the fee by
Totally.
And of course owner fees. We haven't charged tenant fees. I explained that in the book why we don't do tenant fees as well, everyone. But anyway, I guess we got to finish this up. Thank you so much, everyone. I've really enjoyed this. You can hear I'm really passionate because it works. Don't let your big butt get in the way. Talk to me, and of course talk to Dennis. But thank you so much being part of the BDM Coach podcast show. Dennis, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, thank you very much, Darren. This is session 2. We should have set it into 3 or maybe 4, but that doesn't matter. We've got so much information for you and plenty more to come. So everyone, if your new business isn't on fire, give me a call.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.